Before we begin, thank you very much to Bruce. Just Bruce for pitching in over on Ko-fi. Thank you very much, Bruce. Very, very appreciated. Also, thank you for your patience. This is, again, one of those that are very far in the backlog. I'm trying very hard to get through everybody. Well, how much do I have left? Oh my god, because, like, the Ko-fis are built up. The Ko-fi shout-outs are built up. Everyone will get a shout-out, no matter how long you've been waiting, so please, hold on. We are getting closer. But thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for your support. Always, always appreciated. So, last time on the debate videos, I asked you what the best Masters gimmick was, and I shouldn't be surprised. Headmasters is the winner, though I'm actually surprised more by the percentages. Target Master and Power Master are actually pretty close by all, generally speaking. That actually took me off guard. Like, I honestly thought one or the other was going to fall way behind. I did not expect it to be, like, that close. So, okay. Fascinating. Fascinating. I'm actually surprised. I thought Power Master would be higher than Target Master, if we're being honest here. Because, like, Target Master to me is kind of the most boring one. Because, like, it doesn't really affect the major toy in any way. It just kind of does a thing with his gun. But yeah, Headmaster's winning by, taking half the vote all by itself. Not really shocked. We love our Headmasters. They're fun, and it creates this interesting dynamic on the toy itself. It's why we got Titan's Return, and an entire line devoted to them. So thank you all for voting. I do appreciate it. Keep in mind, thousands watch these videos and only hundreds vote. It will take you, approximately 5 to 10 seconds of your time to visit the site, click a button, and I appreciate it because we try to get as much of a sample size as possible when it comes to this. So, always better to have more people pitching in. More people means more interesting data, and more, hopefully, accurate data. So, let's go and talk today about someone who is very, very good about, accurate, lots of data. We're going to be talking about our favorite robot Cyclops, Shockwave. Unless you're a Gundam fan and you like the Zaku, but like this the other, no, not this channel. Not this channel. We know the robots I like. So, Shockwave has been such a staple in Transformers, though an interesting one in that he's been hard to use at times, both because he turns into a gun and because his name was trademarked for the longest time by someone who was not Hasbro. So he's been kind of going back and forth, but we start to use Shockwave again. He showed up in Transformers 1, he showed up in Earthspark, and obviously he is a player in the current comic books. But throughout his years, Shockwave has largely seen as one of two very distinct characterizations. You have the original cartoon, which depicted him as the most loyal of Megatron's troops. He is the one trusted by Megatron to watch over the planet Cybertron for the duration that the Decepticons were gone. Now, Megatron probably didn't plan on it being a 4 million year departure, but give him credit. I give Alita 1 credit a lot because she managed to keep Shockwave from like completely overtaking the planet, for 4 million years. But give Shockwave credit too. He held down the fort for 4 million years. That's not easy either. It genuinely makes me think, like, is there a what-if story about Shockwave? What if Shockwave came to Earth? Because if he can hold off, every surviving Autobot on the planet for that long and still come up with things like the space bridge in his spare time, it makes me wonder just how different the war on Earth would have been if someone that powerful was on Megatron's side from the beginning. So yeah, G1 Shockwave, sparing in appearance, but yeah, significant character. Even if he's not active in the plot, he's doing something very big behind the scenes. But if you grew up with the Marvel comics, your Shockwave was far, far different. The original bio in the toys It said that Shockwave was, very logical, like defined by his like devotion to logic and reason. And he was after Megatron's position as leader of the Decepticons. So that is where you get the Marvel Shockwave, where the first time you see him, he literally just guns down every standing Transformer and just takes over for himself, leaves Optimus Prime as a still living disembodied head, and makes Megatron his subservient. Marvel Shockwave did not screw around. Oh, and that's not even the only time. That's not even the only time he would come up as a huge threat. Whether it was handling the Dinobots all by himself, or going toe-to-toe with Scorponok for leadership of the Decepticons, he was a menace. He was a far bigger threat and a far bigger presence than the one from the cartoon, which makes it no wonder why so many people love that depiction. But today, we're here to discuss both the loyal Shockwave and the usurper Shockwave, and we're going to determine which one do you guys prefer. And this is again one where I kind of feel like where the outcome might be a little obvious, but there are layers to it where I think maybe not so much. I want to see how deep the layers go. So, a loyal Shockwave is kind of what we see in a lot of the cartoons because it is, something of the cartoons in nature, and that kind of, because it's just the awareness level of the cartoon. And then that bleeds over into the movies. Shockwave is one of the better things in Dark of the Moon. In a movie that I don't really genuinely like, Shockwave has command, he has presence, even if he is just snarling and riding this giant worm. Visually, he's one of the most striking things that they ever put in the live-action movies. And to be honest with you, I think it's one of the few designs they actually tried to respect a little bit. You look at the take of like Starscream and how sacred Starscream is as a character, and the movie incarnation looks nothing like Starscream. On the Decepticon side, you really have Megatron, who has some aspects of the original, Soundwave that has some aspects of the original, and that's it. If anything, Shockwave might be one of the more accurate depictions of a Bayverse Decepticon. He gets to keep his Cyclops look. He gets to keep his arm cannon. He gets to keep the purple coloring, though I could definitely use a little bit more of it, please. If the studio series had had more purple on it, oh, I would have bought it immediately. But it is what it is. And yeah, I think it's a cool looking character. And yeah, being like one of like Megatron's big minions that he saved back for that particular stunt, yeah, it works. It works. If we want a Shockwave a little bit more agency and presence, oh, we can talk Prime Shockwave. Prime Shockwave is one of those examples of we as writers forgot that Starscream was a scientist in the original G1 fiction. So we kind of shovel all that off onto Shockwave. So he's now the mad scientist. He's the Wheeljack equivalent on the Decepticon side of things. So he's doing the crazy stuff with, bones and cloning. But this is, again, a Shockwave with aura, with presence. And yeah, part of that is the fact you've got David Sobolov doing the voice. And it's such an intimidating voice. Awesome depiction. Absolutely awesome depiction. And immediately steps right into the second in command of the Decepticons underneath Megatron. See, one reason why I don't mind or even like, one reason I like a Shockwave who is Megatron loyal is because amongst the Decepticons, that's kind of rare. It's kind of rare that Megatron has someone that he can trust implicitly, because amongst the Decepticons, everyone's out to stab everyone else's back. So to have someone who is 100% dedicated to you, that's... I would tell Megatron to put a ring on it, except that he has the gun arm, so it kind of looked like the ring toss at a carnival, which is now hysterical, and I actually want that done as some kind of like little novelty toy. Someone please. Point being, it's a rare commodity in the Decepticons. It's a rarer commodity when someone who is potentially equal in power to Megatron is still loyal to Megatron. That's what we get when we get a good loyal Shockwave. And then we get the stuff where a loyal Shockwave is the only way this works. Animated has one of the best incarnations we ever got. It's such a good twist. It's one of the best twists in Transformers fiction in general. Like, here you are, comfortable in this idea, like a Sentinel. Okay, we have this, we have a lot of new characters mixed into, you know, our core cast, right? You know, let's say our first Sentinel Prime, for instance. You know, we got Bulkhead, we've got Lugnut, etc., etc. So seeing Long Arm Prime kind of shuffled into the mix, it didn't seem very far off. And because Prime is a rank, you know they've been around a long time, so you kind of let your guard down a little bit, which is the whole point. Finding out that Long Arm is Shockwave is such a good twist moment. We've had double agents in the past. We've never had a double agent who was a major character in disguise. And it's an incredibly cool one. Yeah, and it's because of how complete it was. You know, Long Arm has a different vehicle mode than Shockwave. That's a cool take. Like, you literally, it comes out of nowhere, and it's great. It's a wonderful trick. Yeah, and that's, again, storyline-wise, you can only trust something like that to a very loyal version of a character. That twist does not work as well if that character is more treacherous, because they just would have given, you know, Autobots advantage against Megatron without him knowing it. But the fact that it's Shockwave, of all characters, who is showing that loyalty to go to the other side, that's cool. This was such a cool take. But then again, you also have the merits of a Shockwave who does not see eye to eye with Megatron. We saw that in Earthspark, where that version of Shockwave obviously is not going to follow Megatron's more peaceful new mindset. But when he takes over for himself, he actually does do a pretty decent job commanding the Decepticons. And he's, for the most part, successful. It's one of the few things you can't really argue when it comes to Decepticons. They fail a lot. So when one actually pulls off what they want to do, which in this case was the Decepticons wanted to escape the planet and return to Cybertron, yeah, I'll give Shockwave credit. He pulled it off. You know, that's not something that happens with a Decepticon. It's very rare a Decepticon's plan works out. And granted, Liege Maximo's there when he arrives, so, you know, it's not the best of circumstances, but we work with what we got. We work with what we got. I will at least give him the win. No, when it comes down to, like, Shockwaves who are more treacherous, who are more power hungry, we have a few very strong examples to cover. One is in Dreamwave. And here's the thing, I completely forgot about this Shockwave for a while. To be fair, we don't talk a lot about the Dreamwave run of Transformers on this channel. One, because Pat Lee deserves as little positive credit and attention as possible, but also because, to be honest, it's been a long time. I've forgotten a lot of this stuff. So, you know what? I have been reading some of the Dreamwave books again for potential future videos. I kind of want to touch more on the comic book side of Transformers that we don't really get into very much unless Skybound puts out a new issue. So, in reading these again and touching base on these, I forgot that not only did we have, like, power-hungry, like, I want to be in command Shockwave, but we had one with a fascinating approach. Optimus and Megatron are feuding on Earth, so Shockwave, in G1 cartoon canon, left on the planet, left to hold down the fort while Megatron is still in charge, even though he vanishes for 4 million years. This one sees Megatron vanish and continuing his feud on Earth and goes, you know what? Screw it, I'm running this house. Like, as far as I'm concerned, both of them are traitors to Cybertron because they abandoned the planet. So I'm taking both of them in as criminals. This is my planet now. And he's got his own army to back it up. Oh, and it's a stacked one. It's a stacked one because this is how Dreamwave introduced the triple changers. Again, I need to read through it more. I think this is one of those fictions where triple changing is like a weird experimental thing that Shockwave was tinkering with. Vague memories. I know that's in fiction somewhere. I need to go back and see if that's exactly where. But point being, powerful soldiers on Shockwave's side, which eventually will also include Stunticons. So yeah, I love the approach. I absolutely love the approach of just like, hey, you left the planet, you didn't come back, this is mine now. You aren't Decepticons anymore. I am the Decepticon leader. These are Decepticons. You're all traitors. You all abandon us. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. But if we're talking about Shockwaves or power hungry, does any really top IDW? You can't, right? You cannot top IDW Shockwave in terms of the Shockwave who wants to take over. Imagine that. I mean, not only his own machinations with Ore 13 and almost successfully wiping out the universe with his own black hole. That was already a big enough power play. But then to get sucked into the past and decide, you know what? I'm just gonna manipulate the entirety of my race by manipulating their entire religion. And I am going to sit here for tens of millions of years carrying this out until that one right moment where I'm going to ruin everyone's day with this. Oh my God. We have never seen such a play in Transformers. Fictionally, it's chaotic. Because, like, out of nowhere, here comes Shockwave with the craziest of plans. And, yeah, like, the dedication of tens of millions of years that this would have taken to pull off. It's something. It's something. I mean, yeah, like, he makes for this fantastic, like, loyal soldier to Megatron. You know, and you need a loyal soldier every now and then. There's some story beats you just can't tell with a character who is, you know, likely to stab, you know, your main villain in the back. But at the same time, we have a beautiful array of Shockwaves who make really good second villains in these franchises, so we don't always have to have Megatron at the top. Currently, we are enjoying this one from Skybound, who currently has not run into Megatron. He kind of had his own thing going on, even though he was technically under Soundwave during his time on Earth. But we don't know exactly where he stands with the big man himself yet. They have not encountered each other, and considering one is on Earth and one is on Cybertron, probably going to be a hot minute before we see that. To this point, though, he's making for a really good, like, powerful Shockwave. I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens with the character. But that is a neutral point at the moment. That is not what we're concerned with. We are concerned with this option right here. So, in the description below on this video, you will find a link to a straw poll asking you which of the Shockwaves is your favorite. Do you like him as Megatron's most loyal soldier and second in command, or do you like him as the would-be leader who is always looking for an opportunity to seize power? So that is the vote for the day, and I thank you all for participating, and I thank you all for watching. As always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.